Hey everyone, Adam Tracy, part 3 on games of skill, legality, and quasi-gaming, quasi-blockchain gaming in the US. So I talked about first like the casino style games. Second part was like your trading simulations, esports competitions, stuff like that. And now the corollary to all of this is found in what is decidedly this arcane set of law that's been around forever called sweepstakes, right? And if you're old like me, you remember Ed McMahon. He'd show up at your house for like this like big check, like you want to golf out, and and it was like 10 grand or whatever, and you're all happy. But in any event, gaming, right, is consideration, chance, prize, right? And we talked about if you take out the consideration piece, right, then you're really out of that gaming definition and you sort of have at it. Now, on the sort of peer-to-peer, what you're really going to see like in a crypto type project, like whether it's trading simulations, esports, what have you, right, there's more likely to be a paid for entry fee, right? And then the gaming or the exemption from gaming laws really is based upon the skill versus chance dynamic, right? But you have to be wary of sweepstakes laws. And what's, I guess, ironic about it is that if you take the cleanest route, which is just to eliminate consideration, right, you're going to trigger sweepstakes laws in each state in which you operate. And each state has them, right? Some states require you to like fill out a form. And it's that free entry, right, that actually would like trigger it. And it requires certain disclosures and what have you. Now, if you can say with like certainty that it is a game of skill, okay, without consideration, then you fall outside the ambit of having to make these disclosures and file with certain states and all that under sweepstakes law. Now, sweepstakes laws, while generally actually do not apply to any skill-based games, if there's any element of chance and there is case law, substantial case law around it, then they will apply. So there's a heightened standard, right, when you invoke sweepstakes laws. And it's not terribly difficult to adhere to. It's just a pain, right? You want to deal with it, okay? And it's like, the sweepstakes sort of doesn't end, and, there's like constant sort of like filings and stuff like that. It's just, it's not like the rabbit hole you want to go down, right? So if you're talking about like the non-crypto quasi-gaming platform, I have native tokens, it's free to play, I can buy more, but my chance of winning with one token is the same as all the rest, you're going into sweepstakes land, right? There's no way around it because it's the free entry part that actually, while you think you're doing something altruistic, it's actually screwing you up, right? Making you do more work. Now, if like for a crypto platform where it's going to be some kind of, whether it's gaming, trading simulations, esports competition, anything that's like, skill-based versus chance-based, and you're actually taking value that would allow the person to enter into the contest, right? Which makes it a little more difficult, as I discussed, from the interpretation of, am I violating gaming rules? You have to be damn sure that there's absolutely no element of chance in that game. So even like trading simulations, right? These apps where you like can enter into these things and you trade like a portfolio of Bitcoin. You've got to be so careful that there is zero element, and you should be able to argue that, random chance, and random walk and all that kind of crap from finance school and all that nonsense, like that there is no chance. Because if you are taking consideration, And then there is some element of chance, which again is going to be interpreted more sternly by states than anywhere else. Then you are violating all forms of sweepstakes laws, because one, you're taking money to get in, and you're then basically entering people into like this lottery, right? So the question becomes like, yes, if you're going for the free route, just comply with the sweepstakes laws. In most states, it's just a series of disclosures that you got to throw in there. Throw on your app, your website, whatever. You don't have to mail them or like they used to. If there's consideration and it's a game of skill, and it is decidedly a game of skill, and you have the tightest argument that is a game of skill with zero element of chance, sweepstakes laws do not apply, and you go about your business. So the question becomes, which route do you take? Like I said before, if it's a crypto token where you have your native token and that token allows you to enter the ecosystem and do what you willst with it, play the games, play other people, win prizes, what have you, you have to take consideration up front, else it's not going to work, right? It's just not going to work. And if that is in fact the case, just be prepared. While you don't have to take overt action, I mean, you can include the sweepstakes language, but I think that's sort of like a tip-off. You have to be very, very careful with how the games are dictated and how the outcomes are perceived and arrived at. They have to be provably fair, right? Else you will trigger sweepstakes laws, which you did not adhere to, and then you have cease and desist letters flying in from 50 different states. So that is the final element of this quasi-gray area of gaming in the U.S. Questions, hit me up, Adam@Tracy.io. Talk to you next time. Cheers.